I really feel like where I am now is where I should be, because I'm super happy where I am now, and I wasn't back then. Every little decisions, tiny decisions I've made were made because I wanted this freedom I have now, or because I wasn't passionate about my work before. So, I'm Gilles. I have a B2B SaaS in nutrition. I'm based in Bali. I'm 36 now.
In terms of, we can dive into more about the business you're currently working on.
Yeah.
How did you get started in this nutrition business-to-business software as a service?
So I was already a sportive guy back then when I was younger. I was swimming a lot, and at some point when I got into my corporate job back in 2019, I wanted to do a weight loss. I wanted to lose weight, and so I bought. I bought. Actually, it was 2017, but I bought a program online, and I started to learn about nutrition, to know how to lose weight, because I was very sportive, but I didn't know anything about nutrition. So I did my weight loss pretty well. It was a great result. And then I started a digital journey. Started with a dating app. And it didn't work out. So I still tried to make projects into like SaaS businesses. And then I met this guy, this fitness influencer, and this guy, I was showing him like a few projects I was doing in AI, and at some point he told me, "Hey Gilles, I would love a meal plan generator for my clients," because this guy was doing meal plans for his clients, and automatically, I mean, when he told me that, I was like, "Oh, I can do that, and I want to do that because I'm passionate about nutrition and I have the skills to do it." And yeah, that's how it started. And it's been almost 2 years now.
So with that journey, do you want to say the name of the SaaS business?
Yeah, it's called Pro Meal Plan.
So with Pro Meal Plan, what you really did was you went back in your journey and looked at what are some problems you've had in your life and also solved in your life. So with your own weight loss journey and also being very sportive as a kid, then you combine that with a technical skill in coding.
Yeah.
If someone were wanting to do an idea or a business like that, what are some of the questions you think they should ask themselves?
A business like this one,
like your one, there.
In nutrition specifically, or
Be nutrition, but just a SaaS business.
Okay. So basically, I think what you should be doing is something you experienced at some extent. So you have a good understanding of what you're solving. Because when you build a SaaS or service or product, you need to find a product market fit. So you need to have a specific problem and address this problem. And to be able to really address the problem, you need to have a good understanding of the problem, basically. So if you haven't experienced it, it's pretty difficult to build something that will really address the problem. You can, but I think actually, yeah, when you start your journey as an entrepreneur, it's really good to start with something you've experienced yourself. But the more you gain experience, I think the more you can be detached from this experience. So you have a more objective, like mathematic way of finding your product market fit without having experienced it, really.
We'll go into more detail about your business. What I wanted to touch on before was the actual journey you went on. So you mentioned you started off with a dating app. What were you doing before the dating app? So what were you doing throughout your 20s before you jumped to working for yourself?
It's a long story, but long story short is I tried to be a doctor, so I did medicine studies. I failed, and then I went to law university. So I became a lawyer. I had the yeah. It was. I just did it. It wasn't like super challenging. It was, but I just did it because I could. So I became a lawyer, and then my personality and my skills and I would say my personality made me do this digital entrepreneur thing, which
What parts of your personality?
I would say I'm a creative person. Yeah, I'm creative. I like to design like concept, but also graphics. So I didn't have that when I was a lawyer. And also I like to build things, really. Like websites, apps, web apps, and writing documents wasn't my thing.
What other parts of your journey do you think were pivotal in telling you that this traditional path wasn't for you, that bit law wasn't for you, working a 9 to 5 job wasn't for you? Was there any moments where you thought, okay, this is why I really can't work a 9 to 5 job?
Now we're like 5 years ahead. I can see back then things that made me realize I wasn't passionate about law and I had to pivot. But if I take me back then, it's just things I naturally did, like decisions I've made. But all of this journey, I would say it's law of attraction. Because I really feel like where I am now is where I should be. Because I'm super happy where I am now, and I wasn't back then. And every little decisions, tiny decisions, I've made were made because I wanted this freedom I have now, or because I wasn't passionate about my work before. So, for example, I'm about to get my first position as a lawyer. I was really slow at apply for positions, and I was very slow because I didn't want to in the end, unconsciously. So yeah, all these little things, I can say that, but there wasn't one big event that made me say, okay, I want to quit. It was just natural for me. So that's why I really say it's law of attraction. All these little things.
So you worked as a lawyer for 5 to 6 years?
No, actually, as a lawyer, like officially lawyer, I worked for 2 years, but the training and everything, it's, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years.
Is there anything that you learned in your 9 to 5 job in that career that you now apply to your business today?
Yeah, of course. Everything I do now is legally acceptable, I would say.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, it helps me having this method of doing things. So basically, as a lawyer, a French lawyer, you develop the skills of making good research. So what you write for your customers is right, and you make sure it's right. So also, I would say patterns, brands, and everything. I now have the serenity to say, okay, maybe I haven't created my own brand really, but it doesn't matter. It's not something important, but I know how to do it. Or even when I hire someone, I'm more secure about the way I do things. Yeah, it's really like serenity when you start your journey, because if I didn't have that, it would be maybe more stressful to, I don't know, hire someone, create a website. Maybe people who haven't got this experience would be, okay, do I need to create a brand? Do I need to do this? And me, thanks to this, I don't have to worry too much about that.
And leading up to the point where you pivoted and went into your own business, you mentioned that you made a series of small decisions. what were some of the small decisions you had to make?
Okay, I'm gonna put this random order, but the last one was I asked my previous employer if I could work remotely. They said yes, so I went abroad, and then I started to work on my project now. Naturally, I started to work really on this project and then bit less on my previous job.
So you didn't just one day quit.
No,
You took the flexibility on your current job to see where that could take you.
yes,
Said, okay, can I try work remotely? They said yes. And then you started to slowly make a pivot
yes,
while you had already moved overseas.
yes.
So you were at Bali in this point?
No, I was in Paris,
Oh, you're in Paris. Okay.
and I asked my employer if I could go to Bali.
To go to Bali. Okay. So you moved to Bali and then you're working remotely.
Yes.
And then you started to slowly work on this.
Yeah, I was working part-time actually. Oh, that's a thing. So I worked also as a developer after I became a lawyer. And I know I wanted some freedom and I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when they hired me, they wanted me full-time, but I said, no, I don't want full-time. So I'm available only part-time. So that's also a small decision. So every steps made me like where I am now.
So you started off part-time, learn additional skills that you could take overseas, which is being a developer. And then after you've established yourself in this job, you've then said, can I have some flexibility and work overseas?
Actually, my skills as a developer, I gained them before in Paris, actually. So yeah, I became a lawyer. Then I started to work on this dating app as a lawyer, like during the weekends and nights. And then so my contract as a lawyer expired. So that's why I stopped actually. It wasn't a decision. It was the contract that ended. And then I worked for this dating app. And then for this dating app, I learned how to design a prototype on Figma. So being a UI designer, also UX designer. And then I got spotted by this agency that wanted to hire me. Yeah, that's where I started to gain all these skills in digital, like UX, UI, and also programming.
We'll get back to the podcast in 1 minute, but I just wanted to let you know the sponsor of this week's episode, which is me. So I've got a free 5-day email course that will help anyone with a 9-to-5 or a beginner solopreneur start and scale their business to $1,000 per month. So you can find the link in the description in this podcast episode. Click on it. It's free to sign up. You'll get 5 emails from me teaching you and walking you through how to start your one-person business and make your first $1,000 per month recurring. So I'll see you there, and thank you for listening to this episode. When you made that jump from living in Paris to then living in Bali, how did you handle the fear, the self-doubt, and the potential judgment of people around you?
There was no there was no fear really. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Bali. I have a part-time job, and also I have backups. My family can provide if I have something bad or if I failed in my journey. So I didn't feel any fear when I went to Bali.
This is a question I actually asked you yesterday, but what's something that you valued 5 years ago that you no longer value now in relation to your business and also being a digital nomad?
I would say time. Time is really, really important for me for everything. Like when I interact with people, can be romantic, can be friendship, can be professional. And even in my work, what I struggle today, my one thing I struggle as a entrepreneur is my ROI, time-wise. So if I'm doing this, what can I expect from this? What's the outcome? And it doesn't have to be like business related. It's socially related, romantic related, business related. So, and also like health related. It's really like categories. So now everything I do, I categorize them. So it's for my health, for my business, or like, yeah, I would say physical health, mental health, and business.
What's the most valuable skill thinking on your journey that you needed to learn as a solopreneur and then, as a digital nomad?
I'd say build things quickly.
Why is that important?
Because if you can't build things, you have to hire people to do it for you. And to hire people for you, you have to have the skill to hire people for you. So and even when you want to hire someone, it's usually people say that you have to know, understand what the job is about. I mean, the task. So you need to at least know what you're asking from your freelancer or employee. So for me, as an entrepreneur, you build things. I mean, I build things. So it's a product. But if it's a product, you have to be able to build things.
How did you learn that skill to build very quickly and to put it out there?
I learned through my journey as I wanted to create this dating app. This is my first thing, really. I wanted to build.
What particularly about building the dating app taught you to start building early or build quickly?
That's different things, building quickly and building. I would say building because I had no choice. Because I hired first an agency to build this dating app for me. But when I hired this agency, I saw that I was really into the technical part, and I put my hands into it. And that's the building part. And yeah, and then I couldn't be on the App Store because it was a native app back then. So I had to do a web app because the App Store wouldn't take my app. So I would do a web app so it can be accessible on a browser. And to do that, I found this platform called Bubble. And Bubble is like a no-code, low-code platform. And I started to play with it. And I started to gain skill. That's the first part, like building, and then building fast. It's more like practice, expertise. So this agency hired me, and through my journey in this agency, I was trained by the CTO, and I gained a lot of skills to be able to ship features and products quickly.
What are some emerging trends or technologies that you're particularly excited about? And how do you see them influencing the future of your field?
I don't want to say like AI because it's like obvious, but I would say no code, low code is really something big, because people like me who didn't go through a programmer school can build a lot of things easily, and things that can scale. You have to, it's pretty difficult, but you can still do things and start like I did. Like my first apps were slow, not scalable, and privacy was bad. But then you gain more practice, more knowledge as a programmer. And so right now I can say that I have some basic skills from like traditional programmers, like data structures. Data structure is super important, and you cannot just launch a no-code platform and build an app without, a scalable, optimized app without knowing that.
So how do you balance the need for creativity and innovation with the practical demands and realities of running a business?
Why would you say it's a need to innovate or to be creative? I wouldn't say you have to be innovative or creative, because you have like the blue ocean and the red ocean, but you still can do things in the red ocean. So you don't have to be innovative. Or like markets. If there's a market that does this, and another market that doesn't, and the solution can fit both in some ways. You don't have to be super innovative. So I don't believe in like you have to be innovative or creative.
How do you balance your need for creativity? Because I know that you mentioned at the start that you like to be creative. So there might not be a need for it necessarily for the business to thrive, but how do you satisfy your own personal need for creativity in running a business?
I'd say through the UI. I really like UI to build design screens and frames. So yeah, my need for creativity, I would say UI, like landing pages, like creatives, like button radius, borders, colors, all this stuff. I really like to build something elegant, usually.
What advice would you give to your 29-year-old self?
I was an intern back then. I would say I was already doing things I wanted to do, and I think I did what I had to do. But maybe start doing building things, because I wasn't. I was just following my career as a lawyer, and I wasn't building SaaS or a product or service. I wasn't an entrepreneur.
So you wouldn't necessarily say quit your job, but you just say start building earlier.
Yeah, start building, start thinking about problems, solutions.
And if there's one message that you could send to all aspiring digital nomads or entrepreneurs, what would it be?
Oh, maybe for them and for me, it could be meet other entrepreneurs, and you can have ideas of what you can build, what you can do, and what you are attracted to. Like maybe the field. There are some fields you are more attracted to, things you are more passionate about. So yeah, meeting new people, like entrepreneurs.
Hello, friends, and thank you again for listening to this week's episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard and got value from the podcast, I would love for you to share it with a friend who also wants to start, grow, and scale their solopreneur business or on their own one-person business journey. And if you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.